The Spurs' next move has never been more obvious. Sure, this year's team was great, but they were way ahead of schedule, and it really showed with some flaws in this roster down the stretch in the playoffs, blowing a double-digit lead in every single game of the NBA Finals. Sure, Julian Champagnie and Devin Vassell were great, but we talked about their wing depth all season long, and then Carter Bryant, Harrison Barnes, and Keldon Johnson essentially disappear down the stretch. They have to upgrade that as well as their front court if they want to get back to the finals next year in a very competitive Western Conference. Luckily for the Spurs, their three best players are still on rookie contracts, so they have all kinds of money to go out and make a couple of big splashes. They're $52 million below the first apron and $65 million below the second apron. Now, obviously, you don't want to get into the second apron so early into your dynasty, but they also have a top 20 pick in one of the most loaded draft classes of all time. Speaking of picks, Carter Bryant, their 14th overall pick last year, will be just 21 years old next year and is going to be their first piece to the offseason. They don't even really have to do anything. His development is going to be a huge key. He averaged 4.2 points per game, 2.7 rebounds, 0.7 assists in 11 minutes a game as a rookie, shooting 41% from the field and 34% from three on 2.2 attempts per game. However, his jumper looked solid, especially when he can step into it, and he even showed some flashes off the dribble, and he's the prototypical size for an NBA wing at 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan. A 3-and-D wing for this Spurs team in the long run is what they hope he can become. He's already had tough defensive assignments in the playoffs like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Brunson, so Carter Bryant's development is first on the list this offseason. Second up is the NBA's Sixth Man of the Year, Keldon Johnson. Because what did we just witness in the playoffs? This dude completely vanished in the finals. He's on a 1-year, $18 million deal, so he's entering the final season of his contract. And after having a really good regular season where he shot 38% from three, the Spurs now have a huge choice to make because in the playoffs, he only averaged like 8 points a game with 3 rebounds and an assist in 18 minutes and shot 41% from the field, 36% from 3 on 2.5 attempts a game. His final stats were even worse. He averaged like 3 a night. That is terrible from the guy that's supposed to be your sixth man, especially in an era where depth is the king come playoff time. He'll be 27 years old, so the Spurs have a big time decision to make in terms of extending him, trading him, what they're going to do, because they could trade him and free up another $18 million. Now, Julian Champagnie's been great. He's on the best contract in the NBA. He's only going to be making $3 million next year on a team option, so that's a guy you definitely want to extend long-term as a 3-and-D piece. Devin Vassell's another guy you want to keep around. He was consistently their third or fourth best player every single game, maybe the most consistent player on the roster, was fantastic down the stretch in the playoffs. Harrison Barnes went from a good rotation piece in the regular season to not being played at all in the postseason. I don't really get that, but he's going to be a free agent, so we'll see what happens. In my opinion, their number one target in free agency should be John Collins, or he should at least be towards the top of the list. 6'9" with a 6'11" wingspan, coming out of LA, where they have, not terrible cap problems, but they don't have the most cap space in the world. San Antonio could definitely offer more money. He'll be just 29 years old, and he can come to a team that just came off a finals appearance. He'd be the perfect combo forward to pair with Wembenyama. You see his stats on the year. He shot 41% from the three-point line, 55% from the field. My only concern is his volume, where he only shot 3.6 attempts a game, so it's kind of like a fake 41% from three because the volume wasn't there, but you imagine him and Wemby together in the front court. That's elite defense paired with a little bit of three-point shooting, a little bit of driving, and Collins is really a 3-level scorer. I think that's your priority. And then comes the De'Aaron Fox decision, because Fox is on a 4-year, $230 million contract, and it has been made known to everybody. Now, the Spurs front office has said they are sticking with Fox. They are not wavering whatsoever. We'll see if that's actually true or not, because it's really easy to say something, but doing it is a different story. In the finals, he averaged just 12.8 points per game with 6 assists and 3 rebounds in 37 minutes and shot 34% from the field and 25% from three. And he wasn't as bad as the numbers say. He was great at getting him into stuff, calming everybody down. He passed it pretty well in the postseason, and he was dealing with an ankle injury. But the problem is you have Dylan Harper sitting behind him as a 20-year-old that just had maybe the best finals of any rookie guard other than Magic Johnson when he won them. And it's pretty hard to keep a guy this talented on the bench, no matter what. You also have Stephon Castle, and Castle should get a little bit more flack than what he's getting right now for the way that the finals ended up, because part of this was his fault. He didn't play that great down the stretch. He was great heading into the playoffs the first couple of rounds, but in the finals, he averaged 14.6 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, while shooting 37% from the field, 30% from 3 on 5 attempts, and averaged just 4.2 assists to 3 turnovers. Not a good series whatsoever for Stephon Castle, and that was the theme for their guards. None of them could really make a jumper. They all had to be driving downhill in a hurry, or else they weren't that effective. And when it comes to closing out a playoff series, that's where your struggles will be. Now, if you made it this far in the video, hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button. As you can see here, 93% of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed. Also, check out the college basketball version of this channel if you like that kind of stuff. Then, going forward, they also have a big-time pick that they need to use, because like I said, this draft class is absolutely stacked, and they have a top 20 pick where you could definitely get a starting caliber player down the line with a 20th overall pick in this year's draft. The first guy I look at is Malik Thomas, who's 6'5" with a 6'7" wingspan, has a perfect frame as a combo guard in the NBA, and was a really effective scorer last year at Arkansas as the number 2 option. He was sharing a backcourt with Darius Acuff Jr., who might be the best offensive talent in this year's draft, not named AJ DeBanza. And Malik Thomas was fantastic in that role. 15.6 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists in 30 minutes, shooting 44% from the field and 42% from 3 on 5.2 attempts per game. And I think he can come into San Antonio, play that backup 2 spot, and really excel next to Dylan Harper off that bench. That's going to be an elite backcourt off the bench. Another thing it will help is their 3-point shooting, because last year they were subpar at best from behind the arc. 15th in 3-pointers made and 14th in 3-point percentage. Bang on average. You need to be better than average from beyond the arc to win the championship in this day and age. Another guy that could help him out a lot is Chris Sinak Jr., a guy that I am really high on. I've got him almost as a lottery pick graded out. He's 6'11" with a 7'5" wingspan, and has shown more than a willingness to shoot the ball from the perimeter or from his little 20-foot mid-range jumper that he likes. 9.5 points per game and 8 rebounds last year at Houston in 25 minutes a game with 1.3 stocks, and he shot at 49% from the field and did shoot 33% from 3 on 2.4 attempts a game. So like I said, very willing to shoot the 3 ball, very able to shoot the 3 ball as well, and a guy that you could definitely grow and develop long term. Just imagine him next to Victor Wembenyama after John Collins' contract runs out as the 4 and the 5 at 6'11" and 7'5" respectively. He could also play the backup center until Cornette's gone, or learn from Cornette for a year or two. But yeah, those two in the front court together would be exciting. And then the final guy we got to talk about here, Victor has to continue to develop. He's either got to get a lot better at shooting the 3 ball and shooting pull-up jumpers, or he's got to figure out how to get down low, because he averaged 26 and 11 in the playoffs, which is great with 4.6 stocks, until you look at the fact that at 7'5", he shot 42% from the field and took almost 7 threes a game. That cannot happen. That alone was a huge reason why they continue to blow leads. But if they follow this plan, this is what their starting lineup's going to look like. Pretty much running it back, but adding more size so they don't get out-rebounded as much, with John Collins down there alongside of Wemby. A little bit more shooting as well, although moving Champagnie to the bench will hurt, but it gives you a lot of flexibility down the stretch. And then you add Champagnie to Harper, Cornette, Carter Bryant, who hopefully develops a little bit more, and then either Chris Sinak or a free agent that you sign, or if you go the Malik Thomas route. Whatever they decide to do, make sure to leave your comments down in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. With that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.